Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of our 7-star raid build videos. It's been a while since the last one, but this one I think is very exciting. We're getting back to our starter base 7-star raids. As you can see here, this one being the fire and fighting type Pokemon Blaziken. Blaziken is of course the fire type starter from Hoenn, which is my favorite region, so I'm definitely excited to see them start this starter, hopefully trio. Of course, as I said a second ago, Blaziken is a fire and fighting type Pokemon, although interestingly enough, its Terra type for this 7-star raid event is going to be the flying type. Kind of fits there with Blaziken's like bird thing it's got going on, so I can definitely see it. Blaziken's abilities are Speed Boost and Blaze. Speed Boost is kind of iconic for making Blaziken absolutely broken, so truth be told, I definitely expect to see that, although Blaze might make an appearance, but I definitely expect to see Speed Boost, and a lot of our sets are kind of focused around that and kind of limiting Blaziken's speed. To make it so maybe your team can get an upper hand in that sense. Let's get over to the moves real quick, though. Blaziken knows a lot of very good moves. One that I definitely think they're throwing on it is going to be Brave Bird. Fits very well with that flying type, Terra type, as well as, just doing a bunch of damage. It's worth it to mention that Blaziken has a slightly higher physical attack than special attack, although I could see it potentially running a mixed set. Most of these moves are physical. I think all of them are actually. Yeah. But just if it is running a special set, it won't be hitting as hard, but maybe change a few of these sets over from running Reflect to running Light Screen, or change their defense investments over to special events. But again, definitely expect this to be a physical Pokemon, so don't worry about that too much till it comes around. Back to his moves, though. Brave Bird, obviously, definitely expect to see that. Blaze Kick is Blaziken's signature move and is a great fire stab option. Brick Break is another fantastic move. It does get that fighting type stab as well as breaking screens, which can be really useful. If you keep setting up screens, the Blaziken AI might make it keep using Brick Break, which won't be dealing a lot of damage. You can kind of maybe stall it out there. If that's how the AI works, we'll have to wait and see. Earthquake, I feel like, is Blaziken's big ace in the hole. This move is going to be very good against the electric and rock types you bring to counter this Pokemon. So a lot of our sets keep this in mind. Of course, it also does hit the entire field, so it can be doing quite a bit of damage in a Terra raid battle, so definitely expect to see that, and be careful. Shadow Claw and Thunder Punch are great stab options for this Pokemon, or not stab options, coverage options for this Pokemon, excuse me. Might be on there just so it can do a little bit of extra damage, although I don't really expect to see those. Swords Dance, I could definitely see it opening with this, throwing one out there, just, maybe boost its attack a little bit right at the start. Stone Edge, of course, being able to hit very hard with that rock damage, being able to take down those ice types they might bring against this, although Blaze Kick is probably more consistent at doing that. It also knows Poison Jab and Flare Blitz. I definitely expect to see Blaze Kick over Flare Blitz, but Flare Blitz can do a lot of damage, so definitely keep in mind it might have that. Poison Jab and another coverage option. And of course, I didn't put it up here, but Close Combat is always an option. I don't really think he's going to run it because raid bosses tend to not really try to use too many moves that do big damage to themselves in that sense, so not really seeing it up there. That's why it's not up on the infographic. But, maybe just keep in mind that Blaziken does get that. Of course, as the flying type, Blaziken, once it terrestrializes, I guess, which, is going to be for the entire duration of the Terra raid battle, it'll be weak to electric, ice, and rock types, which is very interesting because Blaziken covers all three of those types moderately well. Its attacks is going to be very difficult to deal with raid boss when it comes to being able to take hits while dealing out good damage. Its first round is going to be January 19th through the 21st, so very soon. And then the second, I have it reversed. January 19th to the 21st is the second round, and January 12th to the 14th is, of course, the first round. So definitely expect to have a little time to prepare there, at least for the second round. The first round's honestly pretty soon, so be ready for that. With that being said, though, let's get right on over to our raid builds. This first one here is a very common reoccurring raid build that I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of times before. Toxapex is a very defensive Pokemon, and Blaziken being a predominantly physical offense Pokemon, Toxapex is a pretty good hard counter for it. Its Terra type is water, but that's not really worth it. It's not really like what you're going for with Toxapex. Toxapex, of course, being a defensive Pokemon, you're not really trying to do damage. This Toxapex focuses on that. You see Tell Them is leftover. Let's get right over to its moves. Acid Spray, Chilling Water, and Icy Wind are its big things. Recovers there to obviously heal it, but honestly, this Pokemon shouldn't need it. Its ability doesn't really matter. None of its abilities really help it in this situation. But again, Acid Spray being one of the best moves for a raid battle, it is able to lower the opponent's special defense as well as give you Terra Charge, which again, with Toxapex you don't really need, but it'll be nice to have. Chilling Water, of course, lowers the opponent's attack stat while also doing damage. Icy Wind lowers its speed stat while doing damage. And then, of course, like I said before, that recover button to heal if you need to, although I definitely would recommend focusing on those healing cheers to help your whole team out. This Toxapex right here is mostly focused on keeping Blaziken in check. Blaziken can really easily snowball with those Swords Dance and speed boosts. So using Acid Spray, Chilling Water, and Icy Wind can help keep that down and stop the Blaziken from completely steamrolling through your whole team. When it comes to IVs, you're going to max out everything except attack. Attack doesn't matter. Nature, you're going to do minus attack up to defense, which is bold. And then when it comes to EVs, let's pull up the exact numbers. You're going to want to put in 252 points in HP, 108 in a special attack, and 148 into defense. That'll let Toxapex maximize how many hits it can take while also doing quite a bit of damage with those icy winds, chilling waters, and acid sprays. Keep Blaziken in check so your team can really start to do the most amount of damage. Again, this Toxapex is mostly just for staying on the field and making Blaziken a worse Pokemon so your team can deal more damage. So don't expect to solo it with this Pokemon, but it is a very, very competent support Pokemon. Going on to our next set, we got Kilowattrel here. Kilowattrel is definitely an interesting Pokemon. It's one of the newer regional birds, which is kind of cool. You're going to want Terra Electric on this, and of course, it is an electric flying type right off the bat. Leftovers is going to be Tail Venom. Pokemon is similar in a sense to the Toxapex, although be a little different. You want to max out HP and defense. This thing can't really take hits well otherwise, so I definitely recommend doing that. You want to put 4 extra little points in special defense. I believe with Toxapex. Yeah, I got it one with Toxapex. Never mind. You're going to want to do that. With ability, you're going to want to run Wind Power. This Kilowattrel is all focused on speed control on the battlefield. Roost obviously being its equivalent to Recover. Tailwind is how you get your team to move fast. Obviously, that speed boost is going to be bad, but if you could counter it with a Tailwind and then start pressing Electro Web, which is definitely an interesting move that I didn't know Kilowattrel got until recently. Kilowattrel has an 100% chance to lower the foe's speed by 1, so it directly counterattacks the speed boost as well as charging your Terra Orb. Once you get to Terra, you can Terra and press that Thunderbolt and start dealing quite a bit of damage. That Wind Power, of course, will boost your electric type moves, which is very nice after you set up that Tailwind. So very, very nice Pokemon. It's a great way of keeping Blaziken slow, as well as being able to deal quite a bit of damage as the battle goes on. Going on to the next Pokemon here, we've got Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash being electric and water type. You're going to run Terra type electric, and this Pokemon is going to be holding the Shell Bell held item. This Pokemon is a very, very defensive Pokemon. It's going to be great against this Blaziken. It's probably the one I'm going to end up bringing. You're going to run 252 points in HP, 252 in special attack, and 4 in defense. When it comes to nature, you're going to want to do a modest nature for Kilowattrel. I believe you're going to want to do bold, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that. But modest nature for the Rotom here. When it comes to moves, I thought a bit of an interesting set here. We're going to run Rain Dance. I'll explain why in just a second. Then Reflect. Reflect obviously helps you live a lot more. Rotom really doesn't have an issue with that, but your teammates might, so it'll be good as like a little bit of a support option. That Rain Dance also lowers the effect of Blaziken's fire type moves, which will, could be useful if your teammate brings something that might be a little weak to that, like that Kilowattrel or something. Not necessarily super effective, but Kilowattrel can take quite a bit of damage from those fire moves. Rain Dance will definitely help with that. Again, Reflect will as well as that Will-O-Wisp. If you can burn the Blaziken, it's going to be doing basically no damage. And then you see there the ace in the hole of the set, Thunder. It's going to be very interesting to run this set. If setting up a Rain Dance and then pressing Thunder, you're going to get 100% accurate Thunders with no chance of missing. Off a Terra Electric, if you can get there, is going to be doing quite a bit of damage off this Rotom Wash with that max special attack investment. You're going to be healing a lot more damage than you're taking, especially if Reflect is up. So this is a very, I'd say, consistent set for this raid battle. Going on to the next Pokemon, we've got Ho-Oh, the fire and flying Pokemon. We're going to run Terra Electric on it, which is definitely a little interesting. I felt weird setting that. It's going to be holding the Shell Bell held item. When it comes to moves, you're going to run Rain Dance, Charge Beam, Will-O-Wisp, and Thunder. By the way, for Rotom and Kilowattrel, I forgot to mention, for IVs, you care about everything except attack. It doesn't matter what you do with attack. Now to Ho-Oh, same with Ho-Oh though, you don't care about attack, everything else you should max out. When it comes to EVs, you're going to want to train 252 points in HP, 252 points into special attack, and then 4 into defense. When it comes to nature, you're going to want this thing to run modest, same as that Rotom. And it runs the same kind of idea as the Rotom, where you're going to want to press Rain Dance and Thunder. But interestingly enough, I'm running Charge Beam on this as well as that Will-O-Wisp, which is a good thing to mention. The Will-O-Wisp, of course, burning that Blaziken, making it deal a lot less damage to your whole team. And Charge Beam is a great way to actually build up to your, I almost said Dynamax, almost to your Terra. If you press Charge Beam, it has a pretty high chance, a 70% chance as far as I'm aware, to increase your special attack by 1. So by the time you get to your Terra, your chances of having at least a +1 to your special attack will be great. If Rain Dance is up, your Thunder is going to be 100% accurate and you're going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Ho-Oh is actually pretty alright defensively as well. It has a pretty good pretty good HP stat. So it can take hits moderately well. Blaziken can't really hit it super hard at all unless that Stone Edge is there. And if it is, you might have a little trouble, but Stone Edge isn't super accurate. So we'll cross our fingers there. Moving on to our next Pokemon. We're going to be running Zekrom, Dragon Electric type, and Terra type Electric, of course. Held item is going to be the Shell Bell. When it comes to moves, you can run Reflect for that little bit of extra support so your team's taking less damage from those physical attacks Blaziken is throwing out. Breaking Swipe, which is basically Dragon type Chilling Water, hitting the opponent and lowering their attack by 1 stage. Keep in mind, hitting the opponent means your Terra Orb charge, which is nice. Thunder Punch is a kind of consistent electric move, and Bolt Strike is your main damage dealing move. I thought I'd throw Thunder Punch on there because Bolt Strike doesn't have many power points. You're going to want to press Breaking Swipe up until you can Terra, and then start pressing that Bolt Strike option to deal a ridiculous amount of damage. When it comes to IVs, everything matters except special attack. And you're going to max out HP, you're going to want to max out attack, and then put 4 points into defense. So you can, maybe take 1 or 2 extra little hits. Zekrom's a very cool Pokemon. Honestly, I don't see it doing super hot here, but if you like the cool Pokemon from Pokemon White, I almost said Pokemon Black. It's weird. They had like the color switch there, but Zekrom's a very cool Pokemon. If you want to run it, just so you can look cool with all your friends, I definitely recommend it. It should hold its own moderately well, but you might need a little bit of extra support from, say, the Toxapex or the Rotom Wash to really make it work super well. Moving on to our last Pokemon, we've got Miraidon. If you're playing Violet, this should be an easy Pokemon to grab. I mean, you ride around on all the time. If you're playing Scarlet, it might be a little bit harder. But just pick another one of the builds, but Miraidon should do pretty well. It's kind of similar to Zekrom in the sense that it's a Dragon and Electric type. Terra Electric is good to mention there too, holding the Shell Bell. You're going to want to max out HP and special attack and putting the last 4, I believe, into defense. Yep. And everything matters except attack for IVs. You're going to want to run Modest Nature on this. For Zekrom, by the way, Adamant Nature, and I don't think I mentioned that's Modest as well. Parabolic Charge is its main move you're going to be pressing. That's kind of like Electric type Drain Punch. You're going to be healing a pretty similar amount of damage to the damage you're taking with this Pokemon, so Parabolic Charge should keep you around. Electro Drift is very similar to Zekrom's Bolt Strike in the sense that it has very low power points, but it does a lot of damage. So I'd save that for your Terrestrialization. You've also got Reflect there to set up in case your team needs that little bit of extra longevity. And Thunder Wave in case you realize it's not being burned. I wouldn't really press Thunder Wave unless you notice that no one's burning it or statusing Blaziken otherwise, but it's on there if you need it. Hadron Engine, of course, is Miraidon's only ability. Or for what's it called? Most of these Pokemon they only get one ability, so I didn't really mention them. But if you're interested, Rotom has Levitate, Ho has Pressure, Zekrom has Terra Volt, and of course Miraidon has Hadron Engine. With that being said, these are all of our sets for this upcoming Blaziken 7-star raid. This definitely is going to be a bit of a tough one. Blaziken can hit moderately hard and has a lot of coverage options, but I'm sure if you build one of these sets, you'll do just fine. So I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck out there.